This is NDTV. And you're watching Ndtv-Hindu.
This is the late night news on Ndtv-Hindu. I'm Evelyn Matthew. These are our top stories tonight. It's an emphatic win for the DMK in the Pernagaram by-polls. Ndtv-Hindu wins by nearly 40,000 votes. AIDMK candidate loses his deposit. Will the politicians keep their promises in the water-starved Pernagaram constituency?
Whether a solution will come this time around or will it remain on papers? Only time will tell.
Nalini's lawyer meets her in the Vellore prison, says they will appeal against the Prison Advisory Board's decision. Bollywood star Vivek Oberoi tells Ndtv-Hindu that he has been certified the best kisser in town.
Apparently, I've been certified a good kisser too.
Oh, really now? Yeah. Then that I've nailed it now. I've got that information out of you. Sania Mirza gets a visa to Pakistan for what promises to be the most hyped wedding of the subcontinent. And he's God to his fans in more ways than one. Here's Sachin Tendulkar's new avatar. The ruling DMK party's candidate Ndtv-Hindu has been elected as the new MLA in Pernagaram constituency. The main opposition AIDMK has suffered an embarrassing defeat by losing its deposit. Counting of votes started this morning in the drought-hit constituency in Dharmapuri district. About 78,000 voters backed Ndtv-Hindu. He defeated his nearest rival, the PMK's Tamil Kumaran, by a margin of nearly 40,000 votes, which means about 41,000 people have voted for the PMK. The AIDMK of former Chief Minister Jayalalitha finished third with only 26,784 votes. That's a pretty poor performance. The DMDK of actor Vijay Kant has also lost its deposit. It managed a little over 11,000 votes only. The election was called in Pernagaram after the incumbent candidate there died from illness. The deputy editor with the Hindu newspapers R.K. Radhakrishnan spoke to us earlier about the outcome of the election in Pernagaram.
DMK did not make the gains that it was supposed to make. Mr. Stalin was looking at a margin of 60,000, which I thought was possible initially. But then in a private conversation with the Chief Minister seemed to think a 30,000 margin was what would be possible. But the fact that has to be remembered is that the DMK's victory margin is much, much lower than what finally a lot of journalists, a lot of people who have seen Pernagaram thought it would be, and that's a worrying factor. Look at the number of votes the PMK and the ADMK got together, and I think DMK has some very, very serious work to do before the general elections, which is hardly a year away. The problem with the AIDMK was that it did not have enough field level workers. I think, and of course it didn't have the allies required as well. These are the two factors that define any election. I don't need to tell any political analyst this, I don't need to tell the political parties this, but I think Ms. Jayalalitha got her, all her alliances wrong. Jayalalitha got her people on the ground wrong. I think it's time that she moved out. I mean, this is a serious lesson for her. It's time to get out and do the grassroots work that is required to do. I mean, her second level is completely in shambles, and the people who are running the party at this point of time at the district level seem very, very incapable. The loss of Mr. Selva Ganapathy in that region proved to be very decisive in this election, I would say, and he was one of those main guys there. There was Velu and the other people from the Stalin camp who are working there. But the main thing for the ADMK that the ADMK has to take home from this particular very, very bad electoral victory in a very, very long time is that they have to get their alliances right. It's time to get out of Poise Garden and do some solid work. Otherwise, the game is over. I think Madam Jayalalitha realizes this. The sooner she realizes it, the better.
And our political reporter Shabir Ahmed caught up with the DMK's party workers. Here are their reactions.
The ruling DMK's candidate PNP Ndtv-Hindu has been declared as a winner from this constituency. I am now joined by some of the party workers here. Anna, நீங்க எதிர்பார்த்த வெற்றியா இது இவ்வளவு வாக்கு வித்தியாசத்துல?
கண்டிப்பா எங்க தலைவர் செய்த சாதனைக்கு எதிர்பார்த்த வெற்றி தான்.
தமிழக முதல்வருடைய அவருடைய அறிக்கை தமிழ்நாட்டினுடைய சாதனை தலைவருடைய சாதனையினால தளபதி மு.க. ஸ்டாலினுடைய சாதனையால தான் இந்த இவ்வளவு பெரிய வெற்றியை தமிழ்நாட்டினுடைய வரலாற்றிலே பெரிய வெற்றியாக நாங்கள் கருதுகிறேன் என்பது மக்கள் மன்றத்தின் தீர்ப்பாக மக்கள் மன்றம் வழங்கிக் கொண்டிருக்கிறது. இதே போல பல வருகின்ற சட்டமன்ற தேர்தலிலும் 234 தொகுதியிலும் தளபதியும் ஸ்டாலினும் வெற்றி பெறுவார்.
Meanwhile, the spirits were high here in Chennai too at the DMK headquarters at Anna Arivalayam much before the announcement itself. Party workers were distributing sweets and the Chief Minister Karunanidhi seemed quite optimistic about this by-poll. The lead established by the DMK candidate Ndtv-Hindu was hailed by the partymen at the Arivalayam.
தளபதி அவர்களின் சூறாவளி பிரச்சாரம் இதனால் அந்த மகத்தான வெற்றி இந்த மகத்தான வெற்றி ஏற்கனவே உறுதி செய்யப்பட்டது. இது தலைவருக்கு சாதனைகளுக்கு அடுத்த மகத்தான வெற்றி.
திமுகவுடைய வெற்றி இது சாதனை. அதிமுகவுடைய தோல்வி வீண் பந்தா.
Our reporter Shabir Ahmed also caught up with the Food Minister A.V. Velu soon after the DMK's win.
Being joined by Food Minister A.V. Velu, the man who ensured the DMK victory in the Pennagaram by-election. Sir, in the result பற்றி உங்க கருத்து?
தலைவர் கலைஞருடைய ஆட்சிக்கு மக்கள் ஒரு அங்கீகாரம் அளித்து ஒரு மாபெரும் வெற்றியை தேடி தந்திருக்கிறார்கள். அது குறிப்பாக 3 ஆண்டு கால ஆட்சியில் பெண்ணாகரம் தொகுதிக்கு பல நன்மைகள் செய்யப்பட்டிருக்கிறது என்பதை இது வெளிப்படுத்தியிருக்கிறது இந்த வெற்றி என்பது.
சார், இந்த தொகுதி என்பது ஒரு PMK உடைய ஸ்ட்ராங் ஹோல்டுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. இங்கே அவ்வளோ சீக்கிரம் திமுக எளிதாக ஜெயிக்க முடியாது அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. ஸோ அந்த ஒரு சூழ்நிலையில் நீங்கள் எதிர்பார்த்தீங்களா இவ்வளோ பெரிய மார்ஜினோட வெற்றி பெறுவீங்கன்ட்டு?
அது திமுக பாமக தொகுதி என்று ஒரு மாயை உருவாக்கி இருந்தார்கள். அந்த மாயையெல்லாம் மக்கள் தூக்கி எறிந்து விட்டு மக்கள் இன்றைக்கு கலைஞர் ஆட்சிக்கு வாக்களித்திருக்கிறார்கள். கலைஞர் ஆட்சியினுடைய திட்டங்களுக்காக அளிக்கப்பட்ட வாக்கு. ஆனால் இந்த தொகுதியை பொறுத்தளவுக்கு இனி தொடர்ந்து திமுகவுடைய கோட்டையாக இருக்கும். இன்னும் சொல்ல போனால் இது கலைஞருடைய கோட்டையாகவே இனிமேல் நிரந்தரமாக இருக்கும்.
சார், அதிமுக டெபாசிட் இழந்திருக்கு, அதை பற்றி திமுக என்ன நினைக்கிறேன்?
அது ஏற்கனவே 10 ஆண்டு காலம் ஆட்சியில் இருந்த சட்டமன்ற உறுப்பினர்கள் தொகுதியில் இருந்தார்கள். அவர்கள் எந்த பணியும் ஆற்றவில்லை என்பது அவருடைய டெபாசிட் போவதன் மூலமாக வெளிப்படுகிறது.
Meanwhile, reacting to the results, the AIDMK Supremo Jayalalitha has slammed the DMK, stating that the victory was achieved through money and muscle power. She said it was an artificial victory and democracy has been defeated once again. She also accused PMK of distributing money for votes and said it has also adopted DMK's formula. She raised concerns over the attitude of the Election Commission, alleging that the body remained a mute spectator. She also thanked voters who have cast their votes fearlessly. The PMK founder, Dr. Ramadas, too reacted to the results. He said that cash for votes was a major threat to democracy. He demanded action from the Election Commission to curb money distribution in elections. He also demanded necessary amendments to curb these activities. So now the big question is whether the most important election promise made to people of this constituency, the promise of providing water to the thirsty citizens, will be fulfilled. Shabir Ahmed sent us this reality check from Pernagaram.
The loudspeakers have fallen silent and business is back as usual in this village. For about 3 months, this constituency enjoyed the attention of the entire state. But the bitter truth has hit them after the fanfare is over. Nothing much has changed. The water taps continue to remain dry and the villagers continue to face acute water scarcity. Promises were made in the past, promises were made just before the by-election as well, but not much has changed.
நாங்கள் ஸ்கூலுக்கு வந்து வீட்டில் அம்மா வண்டியை பிடிக்கிறாங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டு நாங்களும் பிடிச்சிட்டு போய் தருவோம்.
தண்ணி கஷ்டமே போகிற பக்கமெல்லாம் எங்களுக்கு தண்ணி 1 குடம் 2 குடம் கிடைக்கிறது கண்டிஷனாக தெரியுது. வேலைக்கு போகிறவங்க கூட வேலைக்கு போகிறதெல்லாம் தண்ணினால.
There were reports that candidates gave out cash to lure voters. But going by the very high turnout, that report is perhaps not too far from the truth. But there is yet another reason the people say they voted in large numbers. It's the promises made by the politicians. Even M.K. Stalin in his campaign speech promised to tackle the water shortage. The pace at which work on the Hoganikal drinking water project is on leaves a lot to be desired. These residents have been left with no choice but to believe these promises, as they hope it will put an end to their water woes.
வரும்னு சொல்றாங்க, வருமா வராதா தெரியல. ஆனா வரணும் தண்ணி இல்லாத எங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப கஷ்டமாகுது.
At the end of the day, it's not cash, dhotis or free lunches that the residents of Pennagaram demand from political parties. It's a basic need, water, that they long for. For several decades, various political parties have descended at their dusty hamlets to woo voters on this issue. But whether a solution will come this time around or will it remain on papers, only time will tell. At Pennagaram with camera person Sagai Raj, Shabir Ahmed for NDTV-Hindu.
In other news, the court has adjourned the gift case in which a donation of 3 crore rupees to former Chief Minister Jayalalitha is being probed by the CBI till the 13th of April.
This is the only case being handled by the Apex Central Bureau of Investigation. The case has now been going on for more than a decade, and the CBI court today has fixed on the date of 13th April to have the final arguments for the discharge petition filed by Jayalalitha. So on the 13th of April, we will know if Jayalalitha is off the case or the case will continue for years to come. With camera person Balu Ramanathan for NDTV-Hindu.
Up ahead, stung by a spy cam, what's the Swami's next move? Find out on the other side.